Hey, it's Armand. I am kind of upset that there are no videos out there talking about LemKuuja, so I'm here today making a video about that right now. I don't have a script for this, so you're going to be hearing my pure, unfiltered thoughts, or mostly unfiltered thoughts on LemKuuja. LemKuuja, otherwise known as Kareem Najjar, is a Jordanian music producer who makes like a lot of different genres. You may have heard his music since it was like popular on Geometry Dash like 5 years ago, but that's like 1 or 2 songs. It's like basically nothing out of his entire discography. I'm gonna start this off by talking about CHEESECAKE, which was, as far as I know, his first album. It's future funk, it's alright. I can tell he's experimenting, he's trying stuff out, and I'm all for it, it's pretty good, but like, it's not my thing. I'm kind of more into his later works. An interesting fact that I figured out while researching LemKuuja like a month ago is that CHEESECAKE was like revamped, and both versions are available on archive.org. I don't know why they were revamped, and I can't really tell very many differences between the things, but like, it was. And I just think that's kind of interesting. It's also kind of sad that it's not really available anywhere other than archive.org, but it's good, I love it. Transistor is where he sort of started to shape his future funk style a little more clearly. It's like CHEESECAKE, but like twice as good. One thing I find kind of interesting is the naming scheme of some of the songs. Like how the second track is just called Tatsuro Yamashita 2.wave. And I'm kind of wondering, is that the file name of the song, or is that like a stylistic choice? Like, I don't know, about the music itself, this goes for like kind of his entire early style. A lot of it is just the song he samples, just played out, maybe chopped up a tiny bit, but not much, and maybe like pitch shifted a few semitones up or down. Like, I don't really like that. There's not too much originality going on, but overall, the way he remixes the soundtrack, and I don't mean like remix, I mean like changes the mixing of the sample, like it sounds very good. It's very ear-catching, if that's a phrase. I don't know. I really like Jude. Jude is like probably one of my favorite albums of his. He's still doing sampling, but like, it's not the same as like the future funk style of sampling. It's like hip hop beat type sampling. He takes like an old sample of like jazz music or something, pitches it around, adds some really nice drums, and yeah, I don't know. It's very simplistic, but that's just kind of what makes it good. You know what to expect. It doesn't really switch up on you very often, but when it does, it's amazing. That's kind of why Jude is one of my favorite albums. I don't really have too much more to say. Let's go on to the Gomat OST is probably the most unknown underground LemKuuja music ever. Like, I didn't even know about this until like January 26th, which is the day I'm recording this. I personally don't really like it that much. The chord structures, the instruments, everything just kind of strange. And I think that's because this was made around the same time that LemKuuja was more experimenting with like VSTs and stuff like that, rather than using samples. Something interesting that I've noticed though is that there's this one snare sample that's used like across most, if not all of the songs, and I think it's present in one of the Above the Line songs too. So I guess LemKuuja just doesn't really throw out his old sample packs. That's nice, I guess. Out of the 9 tracks on this album, 8 of them can be found on YouTube in a playlist, but the last song, Al Hamad, is not available anywhere other than Apple Music. And since apparently nobody in the entire LemKuuja community has Apple Music, no one's downloaded it or uploaded it anywhere else for anybody to listen to. So I don't know what it sounds like. You don't know what it sounds like, or maybe you do if you have Apple Music. But for now, I guess it's kind of partially lost media-ish. CHEESECAKE Plus is probably LemKuuja's best future funk album. It's a pretty well-rounded album that still somewhat reflects his style today. In my opinion, the order LemKuuja chose for the songs of CHEESECAKE Plus are arguably the best orderings he could have possibly chosen. Like, Rat River fits the role of the opening song almost flawlessly. Aside from that, there's not really much else I can say. It's a pretty standard album, it's amazing. I'm more just confused on why April wasn't included in the album, since it sounds like it should be in the album, shares many instruments with songs in the album, and the cover art even looks like it would belong there perfectly. So why is it not in CHEESECAKE Plus? What the flip? This is not cool. Anyway, let's move on to In Time. It's his second most recent album. When it first came out, I wasn't really feeling it because I was like maybe 12, and I was like, ew, no, new LemKuuja stuff. I'm only into CHEESECAKE Plus. I really like the way this album sounds. It's as if he's making future funk, but not future funk. Like he's making like modern funk. And I really like it. It's very experimental, it's very good. And from what I've seen, like the videos he's posted around the same time he was making the album, he got a keyboard. Actually, I think he got 2 keyboards. It's really clear to me that he's just been experimenting with the keyboard like throughout the entire album. I can feel the fun he's having with it. It's amazing. I can hear the personality. I can hear the underlying meanings, the underlying passion behind everything. Now let's go to his most recent work. Now this one, I was a little bit apprehensive to listen to at first. I was kind of new to some of the styles he was doing, and some of the tracks just had a rough start. But after kind of forcing myself to listen to them, I found that they're a lot better than I had imagined they'd be. It's this style. LemKuuja's music, especially in Above the Line, you have to listen to it more than once to understand it. It's not really meant to be, oh, here, I'm an ear-catching song, listen to me. It's more just, hey, I'm gonna make this for the sake of making this, just for fun. Listen to it if you want. And I can feel that in the music. I can tell it wasn't made for the sake of making money or whatever. Like he even highlights that in the lyrics of Funky Omar. Your shit's going down in the dunny, cause my shit's never been about money. It really shows. It feels like his style's just getting more and more refined with each album he's putting out, and this is definitely one of my favorite albums of his. It's fresh and original, and each time you listen to it, you catch a new detail. But my one criticism is that it's kind of hard to listen to if you're not very musically inclined. Because like there's so many like techniques and tricks and just like, I don't know if this is intentional, but like mathematical perfection. It folds together perfectly. Like on the outside, it might sound like disheveled and messy, but it's a good messy. It's a messy that forms it. It's a messy that perfects it. It makes it unique in the most perfect way possible. Now, I'm gonna stop ranting about Above the Line and maybe move on to his... I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I haven't really listened to his singles that much yet, like maybe once. I kind of know some of them by name, like Side A, Side B, April. Oh, and obviously, What's a Future Funk? That's a very big one. What's a Future Funk isn't exactly bad. It's pretty dated and doesn't really reflect LemKuuja's style currently. Some artists, they degrade, like they have like one peak and then they just slowly get worse and worse and worse. LemKuuja's not like that. He's like constantly getting better and refining and changing and updating and I don't know, whatever synonyms for upgrading there are. I'm kind of like scared, but not really scared in a mortified way, but like scared in an excited way to listen to what his next album will be. Like I have no idea what to expect. I don't know what it'll sound like. I don't know if it's going to be better, though it probably will be, seeing as that's been the trend for the past maybe 10 years. On another note, I recently found out that there's this diss track that LemKuuja made like 8 years ago, and it is currently lost media since he deleted it sometime between then and now, and nobody's archived it. There's nothing on the Wayback Machine. There's nothing anywhere, and I've only ever seen 2 people mention it, one of them being one of my friends. So if you happen to have this diss track, please let somebody know. That would be very appreciated. Thank you very much. All in all, I really love LemKuuja's music, and I think he's super underrated, and I really wish more people would listen to his stuff. So yeah, thank you for listening if you listened this far. Bye-bye.